Were you created from nothing, or are you the creators? There is another possibility. Did you create yourselves? Since you reject the Creator, then there are two possibilities left. Either you came from nothing, which we will discuss as the lesson progresses. Throughout history, humanity has always confronted this macro question and has developed its own ideology to navigate and respond to it. So even if a scientific explanation is presented, in actuality, this represents a dogmatic foundation of a religious ideology, a religious approach. Human beings stated, we were brought into existence from nothing. They said we just happened spontaneously, you know, as the last thing a human would do. Were they made by nothing or self-made? They didn't create themselves, instead they're made. How can this be? Over time it'll coincide here, there, and somewhat like so. If the wind stops and blows from the other side, meaningful things can come together meaningfully side by side. And if there is enough time, why not, right? This is something beyond just seeing hallucinations. Recently, one more has given up. Another evolutionary scientist has given up, saying, hey buddy, we're not talking about the simplest of systems. We're not talking about complex systems like proteins. We're not even talking about complex systems like microorganisms. Modeling a simple mechanism, a system with 3, 5, 4, 5, whatever, on the computer at extremely high processor speed in order to shorten time a bit. They say billions of times the processor has already started processing billions of operations per second. Have we been able to model and come up with something spontaneously occurring there, that we have tackled immense complex systems which are not simplifying as we go towards the micro level, meaning they are not simplifying as we go towards the cell, but rather becoming more complex? In matter as well, in matter too, we used to say that atom is complete. We found the particle, then we learned to enter inside it. Oh my God, I wish we hadn't entered. It's bigger inside than outside. So don't think I'm exaggerating my description and expression. Inside the atom, it's larger than it appears from the outside. If we hadn't entered, if we'd accepted this as a tiny basic unit, our job would have been easier. Now we're about to go astray. We struggle at the point of saying there's no matter because inside is an ocean. We can't progress by defining. If it's like this in objects, it's the same in beings. In the early 1800s, when Darwin embarked on this journey, he inherited it from his father, and at that time cells were known as a black box. A black box that, you know, is non-functional. It's like an area that covers a subunit area. Currently, we are aware that a cell is more technologically advanced than our extremely large factories, our industries. Our Istanbul is such a cosmopolitan city with such magnificent systems. We are talking about a system so magnificent that you can say it is simple compared to a cell. Adam expresses the importance of avoiding overly ambitious claims, even for a simple system. He suggests modeling it on the computer and starting to randomize movements and processes, allowing them to repeat one after another in succession for an accurate representation. If someone says, look, I found a meaningful result, we would say, oh, so things can happen spontaneously. There is no such thing. We haven't even created a model for such a thing. So, let's say his expression is logical, scientific. Let's use more comfortable, easier expressions. Let's assume this glass here, this glass. Now I'm dropping it, and it shatters into multiple pieces upon impact. But I say that in the second one I will throw it, or in the third one, or in such a number I will throw it. So in the end it will be like a toy baby carriage made of crystal, with headlights in front, headlights in back, doors that open and close, a steering wheel inside. I didn't ask for much. I mean, an organism has more than that, extraordinary. But let's settle for this, let's try. The claim is that yes, maybe not in 1,000, not in 3,000, but if it's 2 billion years, something will emerge. Now this, they were created from nothing. But the men are right, they say we have no other choice. Either we will deny our existence. There is such an ideology saying we do not exist anyway, so God does not exist. Like the man who says, blind one of my eyes as long as both eyes of my neighbor are blinded. There is an understanding that denies the existence of God, the ultimate power, by claiming that its own existence is actually in vain, meaningless, and that we do not exist either. Or were they created out of nothing? They assert the most absurd bingo questions in the manner that is characteristic of humans. Referring to the commencement or start of our existence, they ponder the origins of our being. Every child that is born should take a moment to look back and reflect on what came before them. Despite the enchanting influence of life that will deceive him, a preparation for his own existence for the sake of the fleshly impact. What was I? How did I come into existence? And am I a being that could exist spontaneously? Is it possible for me to suddenly come into being? Did I create myself, or was I created by something else? What is the role of my mother in the existence of my father? The conclusion that she will reach from here is the meeting with the Creator awaited by the Almighty. Or were they created by nothing? Or were they the creators? Allah the Almighty and Majestic states, did they create themselves? We brought forth mankind.